Hey everybody, Merry Christmas, this is Jarom. So in light of the Christmas season, I wanted to share a few stories, some things that I've been thinking about lately actually. The first story, I remember it was actually around Christmas time, and this was actually kind of a darker time. I had just moved to Utah, and I was working in the film industry there, and things weren't going the way I thought they were gonna go. Things weren't progressing as much as I originally thought they would, because it seemed actually very promising. And I remember coming home late at night. I had just been working on a project, and I was stressed. It was the first time I had lived away from home. I had only lived there for about 3 or 4 weeks. It was the first time I had left home away from my family. It was freezing cold. I never lived in snow before. I didn't even know what an ice scraper was. That's how bad it was. So I'm always cold, and I'm kind of depressed because things just aren't really working out. I'm afraid that this path that I've chosen is gonna lead to a lot of financial hardship, right? Which I'm sure we've all been through. And so I go into this, I see a Wendy's, and I think, oh, you know what? Wendy's will help because grease helps everything, right? So I go in there, I get a meal, I eat, and while I'm eating, I see a man sitting by himself, and he seemed homeless, or at least doesn't have a lot of money. To be honest, this feeling came to me that I should talk to him. And I am fighting the feeling. I am like, oh, that's awkward. I'm gonna go talk to somebody I don't even know. You know, how do I just approach somebody and sit down with them just to talk? And I was about to leave the restaurant. I remember I had a door here and a door here, and I got through the first door, and I stopped, and I said, I can do this. This is not gonna be hard. What's the worst that can happen? And I went over to him, and I saw him, and I just kind of said, hey man, how you doing? I saw that he was sitting down. He was playing solitaire with some cards, and I thought and I was just, kind of trying to start a conversation, and he was very friendly. He was very accepting of me, so I just said, hey, do you mind if I sit down? We started talking. We talked about, it was just a talk. I didn't offer to pay for his meal or anything, but we started talking about politics, religion, just friends of ours, things that normal people might talk about. And then after it was all over, I felt great. And then the restaurant was closing because it was getting so late. We'd actually talked for a while, and he said, as I started to leave, he told me he was gonna go walk home, and I was like, oh, well, can I give you a ride? And he's like, oh, it's not that far, it's just down the street. I'm like, well, let me just give you a ride. And so he gets in my car, and he liked my car. I had a Mustang at the time, and we just started talking. We actually became pretty good friends. We exchanged numbers. Now, to be honest, I never heard from him again, but I remember dropping him off at the house he was staying at, which I believe was a friend or family member's house, and it was not like just a little bit down the street. It was about 3 miles. He was gonna walk the whole way, and he didn't want to bother me. And what a shame that would have been had he not allowed me that opportunity to just serve him and take him home, because I felt so good after that was over that it brought me to tears. And I remember the words that I was thinking in my head were that, here I am worrying about all of my stuff, when really that is what I'm here to do. That there's all this other stuff going on, but that is what I'm here to do. One more story, you guys, I'm sorry. Here we go. So now I live in Huntington Beach. It's been a while since that experience, but I remember I was driving down the street one day, again, worrying about work. Have I made the right choice? Am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Do I compare well to other people? And an ambulance comes by. An ambulance drives down the street, and I do my usual, the usual thing where you pull over to the side of the road, you let the ambulance go by. And I remember I was actually pretty close to an intersection, and I was a little annoyed because I was about to go through this light, and now this ambulance is coming by, and I'm like, am I gonna miss the light now? And blah, blah, blah. And I see this woman. Now, I don't think she was homeless, but it was pretty evident that maybe she didn't have a lot of money. She was walking around in some, clothes that looked a little old. She herself seemed a little haggard, a little bit unkept. Her hair maybe a little dirty, things like that. Overweight, not your classic beauty of a woman, but something that I thought was really cool. And it's so funny because this woman will never know. What was really cool is that she saw the ambulance go by, and she kind of looked down the street at it, and she said a little prayer for whoever was in that ambulance or would be in that ambulance. And I thought to myself, wow, here I think I'm such a big deal sometimes. I think I'm such a big deal that I focus on myself, and I focus on myself, and I focus on myself. And every time I focus on myself, it ends in a bad result. With the man at the Wendy's, had I gone home and just thought about my problems more, I would have still been stuck in the same problem, but I wouldn't have been helping anybody. I would have just been thinking and thinking and thinking about it. So here I am wondering how I compare, how I'm doing, if I'm doing well enough, if I'm making enough money, am I comparing well to my friends, or did I make the wrong career choice? Did I make the wrong path? Did I move to the wrong state? Am I going to be able to raise a family? Am I going to be able to have the right friends? Am I going to be able to accomplish what I want to accomplish in my life? Here we are, we're going through all this stuff. Everyone is going through the same crud together, and we think we're going through it alone, and we're not. Meanwhile, I'm watching these perfect examples who aren't necessarily financially successful, but they are still living the way we are supposed to live, which is to help each other. And you know what? I finally got to the point where I just said, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I just want to help somebody.